You brought us coffee too, right?
Yeah, it's in the car.
All right, well, good to see you, Commissioner.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is a good day for Providence Public School students, families, and staff. After months of mediation and close negotiations over the last week after a court ruling found that Providence Public Schools had the right for more increased funding from the city, we have reached an agreement that will provide additional dollars for funding for students. The mutual agreement will allow PPSD to avoid making further cuts to important student services and programs this year. We want to speak directly to families and students and share that they can be at ease. As part of this agreement, the City of Providence will provide PPSD an additional $4 million for fiscal year 2024, bringing the city's total contribution for that fiscal year to $134 million. An additional $11 million for fiscal year 2025, bringing the city's total contribution for fiscal year to $146.5 million. A $147 million total contribution for fiscal year 2026, which equates to an $11.5 million increase from the city's initial allocation for the year 25 of $135.5 million, and a $147 million base contribution for fiscal year 2027, plus a percentage increase matching the percentage increase in total state education aid in the fiscal year. I'm pleased that the city is taking steps to fund the schools in accordance with their legal obligation and in a manner that begins to resolve the structural deficit that the district faced this year. We are all committed to building a world-class education system. As we have seen, we had our first Blue Ribbon School and meet the needs of the Providence students, families, and educators. The city's commitment to provide additional municipal funding will help ensure PPSD stays the course. I want to take a minute to thank the many students, parents, staff members, and community members who advocated fiercely for the best interests of our school community. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We are in a better place today than we were yesterday, in a large part because of your efforts. Thank you once again. Muchas gracias a todos.
Thank you for this opportunity. I'm pleased to echo the Commissioner's statement that we have reached a settlement agreement with the City of Providence that will provide Providence Public Schools with millions of additional fundings, providing the Providence students with the fundings that they are entitled to and deserve. Once again, we are better off today than we were before. This funding provides us with the resources for 4 years, giving us much needed clarity for the budget and planning effectively for the future. I want our Providence families to know that this funding would allow us to make sure that we continue with the winter and spring sports, provide RIP the bus passes, secure special education teacher assistance positions, and continue with the ESL certification reimbursements for our educators, and making sure that we have the funding needed to address family facility needs. We are very excited to work collaboratively with the City of Providence and the Rhode Island Department of Education to move our school district forward in the best interest of our children in Providence. I also want to express my deep appreciation to the students, the parents, and staff for their tireless advocacy and support. As a Providence taxpayer, a parent, and a grandparent, I remain deeply committed to making sure that we move this district forward together. This is a positive moment for our community, and I'm hopeful for the future. Thank you once again for your support and continuous working together to provide every student in Providence with a high quality education. Thank you, thank you, thank you to everyone.
Perhaps you could make the remarks in Spanish.
Le quiero dar las gracias en este momento a todos los padres que estaban aquí, los estudiantes y los que estaban ayudando, porque en este momento podemos llegar a un enfoque a donde la Corte dice que nosotros necesitamos cierto dinero para funcionar en el distrito. En este momento nosotros, la comunidad, el alcalde y el Estado, llegamos a un punto a donde nosotros vamos a tener el dinero para los próximos 4 años para poder trabajar y hacer el trabajo que se necesita para nuestros niños. Le quiero dar las gracias a todos que salieron para apoyarnos a nosotros en este trabajo que estamos haciendo, y le va a dar la oportunidad a nosotros los próximos 4 años para estar seguro que tenemos los fondos que necesitan para trabajar con los niños, porque al fin del día todo lo que se está haciendo es para trabajar y darle la oportunidad a nuestros estudiantes. Gracias.
Mayor Smiley has spoken about additional financial controls, or at least more insight, if you will, into day-to-day operations of the Providence school system. What do you find in terms of appropriateness? What does that mean to the school system?
Zach, you want to talk a little bit about what the city or the district is already doing to inform the city?
I'd be happy to. So we already have financial controls in place and engage in an audit that's conducted by the city each year. We already do that on an annual basis, but we're more than happy, nothing to hide. And both parties have already agreed to further financial kind of investigations on each side, because we equally have questions and wonderings about the city's financial practices. So I think we've already kind of do a lot and are both committed to kind of continuing that work moving forward.
As a follow-up, the city taxpayers, both business and on a personal level, are going to have to make concessions this year and sacrifices in what appears to be a tax increase next year. Have conversations been conducted with the Providence Teachers Union in terms of potential concessions they'll make?
I'm happy to start. So, as a Providence taxpayer myself, it's something we've thought a lot about, and think, for a world-class city, we need a world-class school district. In terms of our conversations with the Providence Teachers Unions, we're in active negotiations with that. So this development certainly is a part of that. And like any, we negotiations are gives and takes on both sides. We're thankful for the support that our educators provide to our students every day. In every negotiation, there's kind of gives and takes on each side, and that will continue in our negotitions with the Providence Teachers Union.
$15 million is towards the lower end of the range of money the city could have had to pay the school district. So is there any area that may still need to see some cuts within the schools?
So right now what we're going to be doing is we're actually going to go back and sit down and look at the numbers and see exactly where we're going, what our next move is going to be, and what do we have to do to make sure that we meet the students' needs.
But that whole list that you had put out with the 10.9, that's saved for now.
The 10.9, yes. When it comes to the spring sports and it comes to the RIP the Bus passes, yes, we're making sure that that's going to continue.
How are you closing the deficit for FY24? Because they're giving you $4 million for that, but I think your deficit was it 14, 17 million?
So our fiscal year 24 assumed $17 million from the city, which again was far less than what the judge had ruled. But again, to the earlier question, we have said publicly, privately, any way we can, we've never been looking to bankrupt the city. So FY24 will be closed in part through that $4 million from the city, along with the reserves that we had that we have at the district.
How much do you have in reserves?
Roughly $12 million.
Commissioner Infante-Green, Mayor Smiley said that this is kind of water under the bridge for him right now because the settlement is signed. Do you feel the same way?
Yeah, absolutely. Our organization, RIDE, and myself, I'm willing to work with anyone that wants to do the work. This is tough work, and, it's a lawsuit, right? We have to get to a place where we both understand what we need to actually run a functional district, and this is where we are. So, yes, it is water under the bridge. We'll continue moving forward and doing what's right for our kids.
The mayor says he wants the schools to be back to local control sooner than the 2027 that you have planned. Are you willing to do that? And like, what would it take to give the schools back?
Well,
some
there's a
money?
process that was that we have. Everybody's gotten communication. We've even had our first meeting. So there's a process, and every constituent has to meet those benchmarks for us to move in that direction. But right now, we are where we are right now, and we're moving and putting things in place.
Is it possible though for it to happen in 2026 or even sooner?
We'll see.
Habla en inglés y en español, dame grabarlo.
I mean,
I think that misleading the Latino community. I think the mayor was lying because we asked a question a month ago about the funding, and he said he give you more money than El Orsa. Now the co-senator approved the Mayor Smiley was lying to the Latino community. Why people go in the Spanish media radio and say something different that we say here today?
I think the court found that the district was supposed to have more funding. That was determined by the court. It is what the law required, and that's why we're here. And we have been working, and we worked diligently with the city to come to an agreement. Quiero decir a los padres que la corte encontró que la ciudad le debía el dinero al distrito. Ese es el dinero que en verdad necesitábamos para poder seguir echando para adelante. Y quiero que quede claro que eso es nada más para cubrir los déficits que tenemos. No es que el distrito ahora tiene mucho dinero. I think that it has to be clear that this is going to close a structural deficit. That this is not that the district is going to be now in a, this financially, plush place, but it is a step in the right direction. We're going to continue to make the gains and the work. And like the mayor said, we are always willing to work with whoever wants to work with us. We have never turned anyone away.
Any other questions?
Yeah, so the judge, while he did side with you in your interpretation of the Crowley Act Commissioner, he also really cast doubt on these threats of cutting sports and buses. He said sports were never at risk, the state runs the schools, they should make sure that sports happen, that transportation happens. And, you guys say attendance matters, and those things, among many other things, are really important to attendance. So were you really ever going to cancel sports?
So let me start off with saying that when that was stated, that this was a threat or anything in that, absolutely not. If anyone knows my character, I say it as it is. I put the truth out. And this was actually what was going to happen if this didn't go through and we didn't come into an agreement. So this wasn't a threat. This was true.
And on the teacher's contract, real quick, had you really started negotiating, or are you sort of going to start negotiating now that you have a better sense of your budget?
We're in negotiations right now, so I can't say much about the teacher negotiations.
Okay, do you
Thank
think you'll be able to give the teachers a raise in the upcoming year now that you've got this money?
That's part of the negotiation.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions? All right, we're good, thank you all, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry I was late. No, it's okay. You guys doing live?
A lot of controversy.
So you think you can't give me a ride home?
You guys